Welcome to the Dan Sports Tips MLB Daily Fantasy Preview Show for today, the 2nd of July. I'm taking a look at everything you need for your daily fantasy games on DraftKings today. For anyone who hasn't had an opportunity to sign up and play one-day fantasy sports with DraftKings, I will pop a link in the description for this video to enable you to do so today. I'm going to be running through starting pitchers, stacks of the day, how we can construct our lineups to increase our point scoring potential, foundation players that should be used as the foundation upon which we can build a winning lineup, and a value player at each position. Starting at the top with the pitchers, Chris Sale of the Chicago White Sox. He will set you back 12,700 today. Sale does have a good history against the Houston Astros. He's worth around 1 strikeout per inning this year. The Astros currently ranked 2nd in the league for strikeouts on the season. He, along with Jose Fernandez, look the best options for me at the top end of starters today. And certainly I think he's very, very usable in the matchup. Justin Verlander of Detroit is 11,900. Also a fairly big ticket item when we're looking at spending $50,000, and obviously we need 2 pitchers. Verlander had a rough start the last time on the hill, but he pitched an absolute gem the last time he pitched at Tropicana Field with 8 innings of 1-run ball and double-digit strikeouts. He is worth over 1 strikeout per inning this year, and against a Rays unit that ranks in the top 5 for punch-outs in baseball and a banged-up lineup, the outlook for him today is pretty good for him to return to the solid form that he had been showing for an extended period prior to that last start. Adam Wainwright of the St. Louis Cardinals is 7,500. Wainwright often does reserve his best performances for the Milwaukee Brewers. He's got 72 strikeouts in 96 1/3 innings pitched this year. He should see a spike against Milwaukee, who overtook Houston as the #1 unit for strikeouts in baseball last night. Wainwright has been better at Busch Stadium on the road this year, where he's compiled a 3.65 ERA at home. I'm looking for a big performance from Wainwright at a reasonable price today. And James Paxton of Seattle, 7,400. Paxton is great for strikeouts. He's got 41 of them in 34 2/3 since coming into the rotation for the injured Felix Hernandez. The Orioles do swing and miss fairly regularly. As a lefty, he also neutralises some of the Baltimore power, and the safe is a great part for pitchers. He's certainly played a part in neutralising, the safe has certainly played a part, I should say, in neutralising the recent Orioles power surge. There is a fairly low floor for Paxton today if Baltimore do heat up in the park, but the ceiling is quite high on this play as well, and 7,400, it's certainly worth the play. Looking at our stacks of the day today, I'm going to start with the St. Louis Cardinals, with the caveat obviously that this game is in serious risk of the weather. There is a lot of rain around, which is a shame, as Jimmy Nelson will go for Milwaukee today. He has struggled in recent starts, and he's got an ERA over 11 at Busch Stadium in 2 career starts. It's a wonderful looking matchup, but the weather conditions may scupper our stack here. Matt Carpenter for 5,400. He qualifies at 2nd and 3rd. He has the platoon advantage. He's hit a home run off of Jimmy Nelson, and he's 299, 14 homers the year. Shortstopper Ledmus Diaz is back in the lineup now. He's 4,800 today, hitting 318 with 10 home runs on the year. Brandon Moss qualifies at 1st, and in the outfield he's 4,600. He has hits from the right side of the platoon, 251 average, 17 home runs, including the longest in the history of this stadium the other day. And Colton Wong for 2,900 is worth adding to this stack. Qualifies at 2nd and in the outfield. He hits from the right side of the platoon. He also has a home run off of Jimmy Nelson. He is only hitting 230 with 1 homer this year, but I think he's going to enjoy the matchup today. The Kansas City Royals, they're in Philly. They get to face Aaron Nola, who has been an absolute atrocity, going 0 for 3 with a 15.23 ERA in his last 4 starts, failing to make it out of the 4th inning on every occasion. Alcides Escobar, the shortstop, is 3,600. He's got something like a 12-game hit streak on the go. He's hitting 264 with a home run. He does have 11 stolen bases on the season for added upside as well. Outfielder Alex Gordon for 3,200 also hits from the right side of the platoon. Is starting to get going now. He's back off the DL, 213 with 5 home runs the year. And obviously, at first base, you've got the conundrum. Do you want to go with Hosmer? Do you want to go with Morales? I've put Hosmer up for 4,600 purely because he hits from the right side of the platoon. He's 305 with 12 home runs this year. I can't argue with Morales either because obviously he has been swinging a good bat lately. I think both lineups at Fenway Park are in play today as well. Good conditions, poor pitching for the Angels. I would go against Buchholz. I would go with Starting third baseman Yunel Escobar for 3,900. Obviously, check your lineups. He hasn't played for the last week, but they are talking like he may return to the lineup today. He has a home run off of Clay Buchholz. He's a 310 hitter with 3 home runs on the year, and obviously hits out of the leadoff spot. First baseman Albert Pujols is 4,800. He also has a home run off of Buchholz, 248 with 14 bombs this year. Outfielder Mike Trout, 5,600. He has 2 home runs off of Clay Buchholz, 325 with 17 home runs, and Cole Calhoun in the outfield for 4,100. 286 hitter this year, 10 home runs on the season, and he hits from the right side of the platoon off of Buchholz as well. Those are pretty much the only Angels hitters I'd be looking at using today. Flipping it over to Boston against Hector Santiago, who is a fly ball prone, home run giving pitcher in a reasonable ballpark for left-handed power. Obviously he is a lefty, so that reduces the left-handed influence a little bit, but the wind is scheduled to is forecast to be blowing out today. We'll take second baseman Dustin Pedroia for 4,500. He's hitting 303 with 7 home runs, and he's on the right side of the platoon, as is Mookie Betts in the outfield for 5,200. He's 291, 16 home runs with 13 stolen bases. Hits from the leadoff spot as well. Xander Bogaerts at shortstop has cooled off a little bit recently, but for $5,000 you're still getting a hitter on the right side of the platoon who's hit 337, 9 home runs, and added 10 stolen bases as well. And also Hanley Ramirez at first. This is another one to check lineups. He got hurt the other day. He hasn't been in the lineup since, but if he is back in, I think he's worth a play with the platoon advantage. It's 4,400 today, 273 hitter with 8 home runs on the year. Looking at our foundation players, the players we should be using as the foundation upon which to build a solid lineup today. At first, I'll go with Paul Goldschmidt of the Arizona Diamondbacks for 4,900. We know Chase Field is a nice ballpark for the hitters. Jeff Samardzija has struggled in recent starts. Goldie is hitting 298 with 14 home runs. Over his last 15 games, he's hitting 355 with 2 homers. He is reasonably warm when it comes to hitters at the moment. At second base, I'll take Daniel Murphy of the Washington Nationals for 5,200. Hits from the right side of the platoon against Dan Straley. Straley was awful his last start, allowing 6 earned runs in 4 1/3. Murphy is a 352 hitter with 14 home runs on the season. He's hit 372 with 2 home runs in his last 7 games. At third base, it's got to be Jake Lamb of the Arizona Diamondbacks. He's 5,400, which is expensive today, but he has the platoon advantage against Samardzija, who's struggling in a great park. 288 with 18 home runs on the year, and he's hit a home run in 3 consecutive matchups. My shortstop is Corey Seager of the Dodgers for 4,900. He's on the right side of the platoon in the matchup against Chad Bettis. He's hitting 302 with 17 home runs on the year. He's hit 348 with a homer in the last 7. Bettis hasn't pitched well, as I say. He hasn't got to 6 innings in each of his last 7 starts, and he has allowed at least 3 runs in every single one of those. In my outfielder today is Christian Yelich of the Miami Marlins for 4,500. He hits at the top of the Marlins order on the right side of the platoon. He's got 311 with 6 home runs this year. He's against Lucas Harrell, who's making his first start of the year, but does carry in a career ERA approaching 5 in the big leagues. Looking at value plays today, at catcher, Cameron Rupp of the Philadelphia Phillies is 3,900. He will be hitting from the right side of the platoon against Danny Duffy at Citizens Bank Park, which we know is a good yard. Rupp is hitting 393 with 3 home runs in the last 7 games. My first baseman is Mark Reynolds of the Colorado Rockies. It's 3,900, hitting from the right side of the platoon today, 289 with 8 home runs on the year. My second baseman will be the switch-hitting second baseman of the Chicago Cubs, Ben Zobrist for 3,900. He's got 4 home runs off of Bartolo Colon, hitting 299 with 10 home runs this year. Even though Citi Field is a big yard, I think with those sort of numbers, Zobrist has to be included in your lineups. At third, I will take the reigning AL MVP, Josh Donaldson of the Toronto Blue Jays for 3,900. Look, let's see who starts today for Cleveland. We know it won't be Trevor Bauer after he pitched in relief in the Marathon game last night. He is priced as if he's going to be pitching as if he's going to be facing Bauer. He isn't going to be, so he's likely underpriced today because Bauer is a top-end pitcher at the moment. My shortstop is Francisco Lindor of the Cleveland Indians for 3,700. I will say shortstop looks reasonably hard today. Lindor, the switch hitter, does hit at the top of the lineup. 305, 10 home runs and 13 steals this year. But as I say, the matchup against Marco Estrada isn't a very good one, let's be honest. And in the outfield, it has to be Cameron Maybin of the Detroit Tigers for 3,800. He faces rookie Blake Snell with the platoon advantage. Maybin is hitting 500 over his last 7 games, 369 with a homer and 9 steals this season. Obviously, you can run on the Rays, which gives you upside as well. That is all I've got for you today. Best of luck with your lineups, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching the show. Don't forget to like the video, hit me up in the comments with the daily fantasy plays you like today, and press that subscribe button. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter. I will be here all MLB season and through the NFL season with daily fantasy sports advice. If you haven't signed up yet, or you're interested in starting to play daily fantasy sports, please click the link in the description for this video, and that'll take you where you need to go to start playing with DraftKings today. Best of luck with your lineups, and have a great day.